Thanks for having me today. And I'm excited to talk to you about auxiliary services and what the auxiliary services team does at USC. Talk to you about some of our challenges, some of our successes, talk a little bit about our goals, how we want to empower our frontline workers, and how we really want to create different experiences at USC. So through this, I'm going to talk briefly about our culture, how we use it, how we developed a mission, the need for it, what it means to us, and then share a couple of really cool stories with you. But before I start, I just want to let you know that this is a topic that's really near and dear to me. And I go back to my senior year in high school. I was traveling all over the country, visiting different colleges and universities. And my last stop was USC. And I can still remember that day that I came to USC. Had never stepped ground, although I grew up in Orange County. So I come to USC, and I step on the ground for the first time. And every single thing that day went perfect. It was unbelievable. Every memory I have, I'll never forget. And it was part of that experience that changed where I thought I was going to go to come to USC. So fast forward now a bunch of years, and to think that me, along with our team, has something to do with creating that experience on a day-to-day basis and the impact that that can have on students, on parents, on patients, really on anyone. It could be a simple visitor, a staff, a faculty, it could be anyone. So I'm excited to share with you a little bit about what auxiliary services is, just in case you don't have it, and I'll share a couple stats with you as well. So let's see here. Auxiliary services is comprised of the bookstore, of housing, transportation, hospitality, the hotel, and the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum and Sports Arena. The bookstore has over 2 million customer interactions each year, and they do that through their websites and their 10 different retail locations. The Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum and Sports Arena had over 700,000 guests last year at the different events that we hosted. That's Pearl Jam last year. USC Hospitality serves over 3.5 million customers each year. They do that through their 41 eateries and their conferencing and catering. USC runs the Radisson Hotel across the street, and Joe, I hope your stay with us is going well. Last year, we had 100,000 hotel guests that stayed in our 240 renovated rooms. USC Housing has over 56 buildings, and we house over 7,000 students. And transportation had over 1.5 million guest interactions last year through USC's entrances, through our buses, and through our campus cruiser program. So all in all, last year, auxiliary services had over 9 million customer interactions. And to be completely honest with you, not all of them are at the level of experience that we want. It's quite challenging when you run a business that's 24 hours, 7 days a week. So taking on those challenges, we looked at how do we go about creating the best experiences. So about 10 years ago, right at the same time USC was evolving from a commuter campus to more of a residential environment, we established a goal that we wanted to have goods and services that were consistent with the prospective students and our students and their parents' expectation of USC. So we collectively sat down and said, how are we going to do this? And we decided that we needed to come up with a new mission statement that would empower our entire team to create transformational experiences. So about 10 years ago, we created a new mission. It was to create the best USC experience. Our mission needed to be something that we could communicate from management all the way to front line. No matter what type of business that you were in, if you were focused on creating the best USC experience, you weren't going to make a mistake. You were going to go towards our goal. We decided what was the best way to get the message across to over 2,300 employees that we have in auxiliaries. And of those 2,300 employees, 1,100 are students. So we developed core values of best people, best product, and best service. So our alignment was, if you're focused on creating the best USC experience through the best people, the best products, and the best service, we'll have the best shot at meeting our goal. When we started with the best people, we had to really look at the right employee type. For our best people, it starts at our recruiting process and our screening process. So once we identify that we have the right candidate who's the right employee type to help us meet our goals, we set our expectations in detail, expectations of what USC parents and students expect, of what peers expect, and what the individual department level expects. We bring them into the USC family, and we do this through repeated orientations, through repeated onboarding, and repeated training. And we train beyond the day-to-day standards of what the job is expected to do. We talk often about this isn't what you're expected every single day to do, it's the special things that create the experiences above and beyond that. Then we recognize and reward for successes that we see in the workplace. We get stories all the time from our customers, both good and bad, and it's amazing what we see. So we reward through our recognition program on those successes. For those that aren't always successes, we also have to coach and counsel. It's an opportunity for us to reorientate, retrain, communicate honestly about what's working and what's not working, but it's a critical piece to turning the momentum from a bad situation into a good situation. Our focus is we must deliver on the USC brand. This is what is expected, and this is what we have to do on a day-to-day basis. I do want to share a really cool story about one of our USC employees who did deliver on the USC brand, and they were a phenomenal ambassador to USC. And the story is about an employee at the hotel, Alan Tate. Alan wasn't actually at the hotel when he was, acting as an ambassador for USC. He was actually on one of the buses through transportation headed to Union Station. Minding his own business, sitting there, he recognized a family of 3 people, a mom and dad and about a 17-year-old son that looked like they were lost. So Alan asked them if they knew where they were going, and indeed they were lost. You can imagine going to Union Station. If you're not from here, it's very overwhelming. So he helped them find the right train to get on, and it happened to be the train that Alan was getting on as well. So through the train ride out to San Bernardino, they had a lot of conversation, and it ended up being that the 17-year-old Tyson had been accepted to USC, and the family was visiting from Iowa. Never having been out of Iowa, this brand new world for Tyson, the parents were very apprehensive. Is this the right place? Can we trust sending him all the way across, the nation to USC? And Alan explained his experience working at USC and what he knows of it. He talked about the USC culture, about the Trojan family, and they got to know each other. At the end of the train ride, the family and Alan exchanged contact information, and a couple months later, the dad called Alan to say that Tyson had decided indeed to go to USC. He also said, will you please keep an eye on Tyson because we're all the way in Iowa and we're quite nervous about him coming. So indeed, Alan did that. Over the course of 4 years, he kept a relationship and in contact with Tyson, and Tyson ended up joining the Trojan marching band and graduating, and now his younger brother is here as well, and his youngest brother has intentions of coming here. So that type of ambassador of the brand is exactly what we're looking for, and I think that's a great example of Alan's primary focus, his day-to-day responsibilities, is in the hotel. This had nothing to do with his day-to-day responsibilities. This had to do with how do you promote the brand and how do you create an experience for parents and a prospective student. Auxiliaries looks at how USC goes about its core business and tries to find ways that we can support that. USC is competing for the very best students with the very best colleges and universities every single day. So we sit back and we say, as an auxiliary, how do we do that through what we manage? We constantly are reviewing what are the expectations of prospective students and parents. Where do people that are USC people shop and eat? What franchises and business do business the USC way? And we're looking at this in every single one of our organizations to make sure we have good alignment. How do we go and make memories for people? How do we make memories through transformational experiences? So some of the examples I want to share with you of how I think we do this and we do this well, and you may not be aware of it, are from our housing group. And we partner closely with Student Affairs and our housing, and I just want to share with you some of the things that they do. In housing, there's 19 special interest floors, and they're broken up based off of characteristics of the people that live there. Some of the cultural theme floors include the Latino floor, the Somerville floor, the Rainbow floor, and the Shalom floor. Our Muslim floor in housing, for example, has foot bathtubs built in so that it helps them follow their religious practices. Housing has thematic floors as well, and some of those thematic floors are health and wellness, the music floor, the great outdoors floor, the women in science and engineering floor, and it has a cinema floor that each year they have a film festival called the Ed Wood Film Festival, and students make 5-minute films and then show those to their peers, and they elect a celebrity panel of judges to come in each year and rank the films. So it's a pretty immersive environment that you could be studying cinema here, living on a cinema floor, and within that cinema floor you're having a film festival each year. In our hospitality group, to better align the programs that they have in place, in 2010 they changed the meal plan to be an unlimited dining plan. What we had seen was student behavior and eating was going from you have 10 card swipes that you can eat 10 times in a dining facility to I may want to grab a banana on the way to class, a bagel on the way back to my room, yogurt on the way to the next class, and it was more of an all-day grazing program. So our hospitality staff changed the meal plan to be unlimited to meet those needs, and we've actually seen consumption of food go down. We built exhibition cooking stations in all of our residential dining halls because what we saw was an evolution of students who once were just eating food to now we're watching Food Network, we're cooking themselves, and we're complete foodies. So our clientele completely changed, and because of that, we changed our style and how we give them their food. So in every one of our halls at the exhibition cooking stations, there's rotating menus where students can interact with our culinary staff, see how something's made, see what it's made of, and then enjoy it. We changed our purchasing standards in hospitalities. We went local, sustainable, and organic. Made a decision to no longer have frozen produce. We only buy fresh produce from local farmers now. And a really cool program at EVK is something they call garden parties, where the EVK garden is harvested by students and some of the hospitality team frequently, and they get to enjoy the harvest, and then they replant it with whatever crops in season at that point. So we get them involved in all levels of the hospitality. So we're constantly looking at how do we create these experiences going forward, and how do we exceed students' and parents' expectations. We do monitor ourselves to make sure we're continuously improving. We constantly are reflecting, are we creating value? And ideally, can we charge for that value? We continue to evolve to a residential campus, and there's some exciting new projects that are coming up that support that. The biggest, by far, is the USC Village project. So I just want to talk a little bit about how that's going to transform USC even more to a residential environment. We're building over 2,500 new beds of student housing in residential colleges. It will be the home to the new McCarthy Honors College. About 500 students will live in this honors college. And for the first time in USC housing, if you're living in an honors college as a freshman, you'll have the option to move into the sophomore wing of the honors college as well. The same student who's coming to us now is the same student who grew up reading Harry Potter, watching the Harry Potter movies. The residential dining hall in the honors college will be a Harry Potter-esque looking dining hall. It's really cool. They're building over 100,000 square feet of retail focused on the needs of the USC family, with such brands as Trader Joe's, and focusing the restaurant selection on those brands that meet the needs of the students. If any of you have ever been to the Lion Center on any day, any time during the day, any part of the night, you'll realize that we have more demand for workout facilities than we have capacity at the Lions Center. The new village will add over 20,000 square feet of state-of-the-art workout space. The village really becomes our next step of being able to create more success stories. Going forward, we will reemphasize our focus on empowering all of our employees to make decisions without approvals. If you have the opportunity to make a decision, even at the front line, without having to ask for approval, that helps to create the best USC experience, we want to empower them to make those decisions. It's a huge challenge. With 2,300 employees, we're not always perfect, and we realize that. We do strive to get better and better, but we need to continue to evolve our culture to meet our customers' needs. I'd like to share with you just one more story quickly that I think is representative of what we want to do, and it's really representative of an employee making a decision without having approval, but really creating a unique, transformational experience for some parents. And this story took place at the Starbucks on campus. We had a couple employees who were working at the Starbucks, and they recognized parents that were in line ordering drinks. And these parents were in town because their son had been critically injured and was at the hospital in really bad shape. So the parents were here visiting to take care of their son and to meet with USC, as you can imagine, completely distraught. When they got to the register to pay for their drinks, that employee had recognized them as these parents, and she simply said, "You have enough to worry about right now with what's going on with you and your family. That drink is on USC." We heard from the parents numerous times. They kept going back to the Starbucks during their visit. But I'll tell you, we talk about stories when we're meeting with our team all the time, because that's the exact type of story and that's the exact type of action that we want them to feel empowered to take. If we can do that more, I'll be thrilled. And if I look back to why I came here, I didn't get free coffee, but it was experiences throughout my trip here that really sealed the deal. And meeting Jim Ellis, that was the other big part for me. But I appreciate having a couple minutes to talk to you about what Auxiliaries organization does and really what we're striving to do. And I thank you for your time.